Hey, well, first of all, I'd like to say, and I is gonna find me, because I want to be a part of this fucking dumb wannabe tennis tour.
You know, I think they got his testicles so far up their mouths that this is bullshit, you know?
I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm just thinking about having won the world title and hopefully trying to win another one someday. You just drop in and just smack the drop down, say bah!
Well, I'll tell you, Stu, I did battle some humongous waves.
Oh, custom table, please? Oh, stuff looks good on it.
Not bad.
Ain't That Swell with Jed and Vaughn.
Oh, those guys are back!
Get a haircut.
This episode of Ain't That Swell brought to you by Billabong and Occy's Grom comp, Smithy.
Up
It's
the
back.
bong, up the Groms. Two things couldn't go better together, really.
Yeah, Occy is the eternal Grom. So his Grom comp is 18 this year, and to celebrate, it's the first year ever that they've actually had an under-18s division. Usually it was under-16s and lower. But cop this, dude, it's at Snapper. So, and you're going to have man-on-man, woman-on-woman finals.
Wow.
2 kids out at Snapper
Oh, my
by
God.
themselves, bro.
Are you serious? Can
Yeah.
you imagine the froth? They're going to be playing bed karate for eons.
Yeah, nah. Daryl Parkinson's just, he won't be able to sleep, mate. He'll just be there going, fucking grommets, getting there running the
kidding
joint.
me?
Mitch Parkinson will be freaking.
No respect.
No, but 28th to the 2nd of July, or 28th of June, 2nd of July. So it's coming up real soon, man. And the Sandbank's just absolutely fucking mint up there at the moment. And it's the last 2 days will be broadcast. So July 1st and 2nd. Tap in to the bong. And there's heaps of top-line grommets who are surfing in this thing this year, mate. None bigger than little Caden Francis, Maxie McGilvray, and Ocean Lancaster and Hunter Anderson. Those 4 have been lighting up the Groms for a long time. Landon Smales and Fletcher Kelleher in the under-18 boys with Rico, our boy Rico.
Oh, hey diddle diddle, hey biddle.
Love him. And then in the under-18 girls, Miller Brown, you've seen her flare up. She is insane. Bungan Beach board riders represent. Ziggy McKenzie, straight off her ISA, gold medal.
Wow.
She's the world champion. Isla Huppets will be out there as well. So much to tap into with the Occy's Grom comp. Check it out. Up the bong. You.
And today's episode is also brought to us by Patreon, the Ain't That Swell Patreon account, to be specific, Vaughn. And it's an old-fashioned positive pile-on. The Swellian army is mounting up and chucking a couple of gold coins, $1.25 a week our way.
Loving it.
A few more members to the platoon, the Swellian platoon. We got Anders Samuelson.
Who?
Anders Samuelson.
Anders? Is he like Danish or something?
Oh, probably, yeah. He's chipped in 4 bones.
Oh, you weapon!
Well played, sir.
I'll take that 4 bones and we'll invest that into nothing but corn rinsing, platinum shining goodness, mate.
Correct, Amundo. Dave O'Pawley. We got Robbie Tyson. Adrian Catt. Brad Dog. Jimmy Stephen.
What a bunch of legends
Nick
getting on board.
Wrighton. Joey Spinksy Bra.
Spinksy Bra.
Will Ennis. Mark Cardy Selman. Paddy Bingley. Stephen Nordos Nordo. Kyle
Nordo.
Morrow. Zachy Scott.
What?
Oh, it never ends.
Fuck,
We've
they're
even got
climbing on
David
board.
Thomas kicking in £3 from the mothership up there in England. Up
You
the
legend,
pommies,
Tomo,
poor
on your
bastards.
day.
Get them off that island. Get them down here. They're trapped. Pommies, mate. Prisoners of Mother England. It's a disgrace. Let them go, King. Let them go. Let them be free on this convict island of ours.
Nah, thanks so much for your support, Swellians. It means so much. The end goal, Smithy, is just to be a fully functioning fucking place where we can give back what we get. That's where we want to be, mate.
That's it.
It's not too much to ask, but big shout out to anyone who's on the Patreon. It could lead to some magical events further down the track. It will lead to that once we just get over that little tipping point, mate. God knows life's expensive, so anyone chipping in, it's fucking right from the heart. Thank you, Swellians.
Well played. Yes, shredheads, waxheads, kooks and barneys. Welcome to Ain't That Swell, the radio show dedicated to cutting fucking sick. I'm your host, the two-time Gold Cone Peace Award-winning surf journalist, Scum Valley's finest himself, the punch-drunk pikey, the sultan of psilocybin, the maestro of microdosing, Smithy. And I'm joined here as always by my loyal co-host and friend, frontman of the Goons of Doom, former editor of Surfing World Magazine, Tracks Magazine, and Waves Magazine, Vaughn Rinsed Corn Deadly.
Hello, Smithy.
Hey.
How are you feeling, mate?
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling great. I've got 2 busted kneecaps. I'm moving around like an octogenarian, and it's starting to leak into other parts of my spine and posture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm feeling great.
Mate,
Apart from
the
that.
whole East Coast is lighting up and we're sitting in our little dungeon. You've got a tapped knee. I'm just trying to get by in my life, and here we are, just ignoring the waves. But no, mate, how's the vibe in the air when the surf's cooking? Especially on the East Coast. Everyone's just getting around fizzy. Their eyeballs are all lit up. It's fucking such a good time to be on the East Coast.
It is. Well, I've put out this electromagnetic field of don't talk to me, cunt.
Hey.
And so no one is even brought up the topic of surfing since my knee injury.
Yeah.
It's
No, your
just
aura has a lot of don't talk to me cunt about it.
it does, yeah.
Even
So-
your haircut, mate.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get
it's
to that.
all business. But, Vaughn, you're fresh from the Fanning Golf Day. How was it? You pocket a couple of birdies?
Yep.
Did you chip in? Sink a couple of long-range putts?
Mate, I did all of the above, and I will thank, in no small part, the mycelium, the big handful of mushies I just quaffed. Hole 1, 8:30 in the morning, just gets you in the zone, mate. Frees up the shoulders, loosens up the hips. Next thing you know, birds galore. Eagle. Even got an eagle.
Are you kidding me?
Well, mate, I've got to give a shout out to the ball and all team. Got to start because of Condo, like, long time, like, mover and shaker in terms of commitment to flood relief.
Oh, yeah.
So he's the first guy who signs up to the Fanning Golf Day with, 2 teams, mate. It's not fucking cheap to get a start at that comp. It's $5,000 per team. 300 people turn up, so I don't know how many teams that is, but it's a shit ton. He gets 2. Ball and All being the sports podcast from Lennox Head. They've been around a long time. And, so he just puts together a big team. Woody, Berwick Barnes, obviously. Satsy is in that team. Then my team, we had Ray, Roofs, Johnny Hawken, Mezza from Lennox Pizza, and then our celebrity was Micro Hall, the great super coach himself.
Wow,
And let me tell you, mate,
Yeah. You could club
play
one.
golf with him and you start to understand just how ice cold that motherfucker is. He can drain them from miles away. His short game's just fucking impeccable. And his drive is unbelievable. His drive, for such a man of challenging stature, he can belt him right down the middle, mate. Fuck, he's a good golfer. Holy smokes.
Well, gravity has certainly had its way with Micro, but it sounds like
Hasn't
he's
it?
having his way with gravity.
Exactly.
Just clubbing him straight up the guts. One wood,
Yeah.
perfectly dead straight. Eagles, birdies, pars galore.
Yeah.
Barely a single bogey on the card, as far as I understand it.
One
Well
of the
played,
great
Micro.
days, mate. One of the great days. Knowles, he was back. Shannon
Oh,
Knoll,
you're
he turned up,
joking.
and you know he did.
Tom
you know he went
Doblin's
there.
finest, mate.
What about me? He fully went there. Gave us another rendition at the Prezzo.
Well played.
Fatty Vorton, Ash Barty, Pat Rafter. I mean, fuck, dude. It's
Did you get to mingle? Who'd you
Yeah, I mingled a
rub
bit.
your sweaty palms on?
well, much to the chagrin of all the celebrities, I was on a bit of a selfie bender. Got in their faces, made a cunt of myself. There's no doubt about it. But
Well, can't win them all.
No, that's it, mate. And at the end of the day, every single person there is just going that hard on the like, it's smart of Fanning to have a bar at every hole because every bar has a raffle ticket, raffle ticket selling machine there. And by the end of the day, the raffle tin is just that large. He's probably making $500,000 just on that. So
St. Mick of Penrith does
St.
it again.
Mick does it again.
Gets everyone absolutely legless, rinses them of their hard-earned and gives it to the poor. Well
epic
played.
day, mate. And Micro, just if I may talk up the super coach one more time, he actually won this chipping comp at the end of the day. Won a tinny full of tinnies, but gave it away to this Grommet, who was the second best shot. Just gave it to him. Like,
No way.
unbelievable, mate. Like, yeah, it's a day where yeah, there's a fair bit of booze getting done, and there's probably a few, questionable gassy farts coming out of the toilets. But on the flip side of that, Smithy, they make a fucking fortune, dude. They make an absolute fortune for the flood relief, where, Mick's just 100% committed to getting people back in houses, getting them back on their feet. So, insane. But, yeah, actually, you'll love this, mate. My favourite celebrity run-in from the night, Russell Coight.
Oh, the Coight.
Yeah, the great Coight.
Are you kidding
For sure,
me?
no. We're sitting I was at the cubicle doing a piss. I turn over, and there he is, the great man, Glenn Robbins. And I just went, if I may, Glenn, if I may. Fucking love you, mate. Love you. And it's a heavy thing to throw down when you're at the urinal. I love you to another man who doesn't know who the fuck you are. So, good scenes. Oh, he took it well.
Took it right in the
Yeah,
Coight.
he took it well. Took it right in the Coight, you'd have to say. And great day, Smithy. Yeah, a lot of love getting thrown around. And, yeah, mate, feeling sore as fuck for a couple of days after.
And you're about to ship out to Japan straight off the back of that.
Stab high. Coming in hot.
What can we expect? I haven't had too much of a squiz at the lineup. I know Crano's in the mix, one of my favourite surfers on planet Earth.
Yep. Well, I'm actually the lineups as you would expect. Mason Ho, Chipper Wilson. There's a big bunch of them, but the judging lineup's fucking sick, dude. Like
Nate Fletch.
Nate Fletch is head judge. Lee Wilson from Bali he's back.
Is he all right? Jeez, he got buckled. What happened to him?
I can't recall what the actual injury was, but yeah, pretty sure he fucked his leg. Mondo Extreme Experimento.
Whoa.
And but he's on the comeback. Dion Aegis is one of the judges. Like, they have lined him up. And Michael Ciramella from Stab, who is no fucking slouch, the unholy potato.
Trouts.
Fuck, he
The
goes
unholy
good.
potato.
So I reckon we're in for it. We're in for a good. They reckon it's the best air section ever made in a pool. So
oh my God, are you
we'll
serious?
see how we go.
How about? I mean, we predicted, we called it a long way out. The Long John Daly effect of just getting a tee off on purpose-built sections.
Yeah.
But just some of the surfing coming out of wave pools at the moment in the aerial variety is fucking mind-melting. I'm watching, like, kids who can, I don't even know if they've got their fucking adult teeth yet.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they don't.
Yeah.
Doing backflips and the huge Australies and
Dude, I fucking tell
craziest
you,
rotations.
I was having a little squeeze through some of the Stab sort of introduction reels that they've been sort of doing in the prep lead up to it. There's this Japanese kid never even heard of, and he does the most boned out indie, which is like a front toe side rail grabber on a left, and he fully pops it up, toe pokes this thing out, and then just like completely greases it. And I'm like, man, that's starting to head into some pretty tripped out territory that we haven't seen in surfing before. So, you know, when you think of aerial surfing, Smithy, it's been around a fucking long time, man. Like, Christian Fletcher was on the cover of Thrasher in the late 80s, early 90s. It's been around, but we're really starting to see some radical sort of big technical shit going down. So that's what I'm expecting to see. I can't see anyone scoring just standard old air revs in this thing. Can't see it.
And a lot of these talents, these young talents, even like not so young talents, you know, going through to Julian Wilson and all the way back to Christian Fletcher, they're all skate infused, aren't they? Curran Caples, Kalani David, rest in peace. But yeah, John,
good call.
There's no doubt that skating really helps with the biomechanics, the muscle memory, and
For
just
sure.
that kind of aerial comfort.
Yeah.
Of
Dead
aerial
right, man.
surfing.
And actually, Joycey has got a start in this thing, Julian Wilson. He's pulling on the Rashi for the first time since 2014 or something. The dome, shaved to the skin, Smithy. And sometimes the old dogs, mate, they do have a few tricks. He's no slouch in pools, and he's got that ability to just stay perfectly centered over his board. He never looks wobbly in the air, eh? Like that latest clip he just dropped. Fuck, he's just tweaking it. That little dad bod getting all inverted and twisted. Gotta love it. He could be a real danger man in this thing.
I love it. I always loved his surfing, that nuggety low center of gravity, everything just so tight and locked in, so much power in the trunk and the core and those deep bottom turns and savage hacks and punts. He's been a favourite of mine
and
for
he's got
years.
that really fucking massive stale fish in his game. Big staley. And like, Crano's made the final, I think, 4 out of 5 stab highs with that backside stale air rev that he does. So Joycey's got that sort of grab like locked in.
It's the most technical, hard-to-reach grab.
It looks so good on a straight air.
Yeah.
Like, it's the reverse to me, the spins, I can take them or leave them. Because it's like, the difference between the half-pipe skating and the actual street skating. Like, any sort of boned-out air off a hip or whatever just has a bit more style than hucking it into 900s and stuff. That's just my opinion. But, I think that that stale grab when you do a straightie and you just pop it, get that grab. It
has to bone it
almost
out.
nothing looks better. Almost nothing looks better.
Amazing.
Should be a fun comp.
Amazing,
Domo
yeah.
arigato!
Konnichiwa, bitches. That's a fucking big old straighty staley. Get that up, Japan. Gonna be mad. Can't wait for the commentary, Vaughn.
Yeah, well, we'll see how we go. I don't know what a fucking single air is anymore, so it could be very quiet from my end, but apparently I'll be sitting with the great DR over there on the commentary, so I'll just let him do the talking.
Very nice, Vaughn. And other big news out of country Swellian, the Swellian Nation. Smithy Snip got me salad fucking shaved right off.
It sent the fucking internet into a meltdown, Smithy.
Oh, yeah, and I thought we had to
People
address
weren't ready.
it.
They weren't ready, man. When you dropped that clip on our socials of just us sitting here, everyone was like, what the fuck's going on? Where's the locks?
Mate, I'll tell you, it was quite an experience getting rid of it. And it just really got me thinking about the nature of those people in the fucking engine room of Australia, on the front lines, on the coal face of the workforce, down there at Ballina Just Cuts. I want to give a massive shout out to Nassim. I mean, he's like the Edward Scissorhands of minimum wage budget haircuts, just down there, just fucking every 2 seconds. Next.
He's like a parking cop, mate.
Oh, dude, he's
just got to get me
unbelievable.
quota up to get me fucking wage locked in.
Oh, seriously. And these are the people that are just all too forgotten in this conversation about stagnant wage growth. It's the South Asian man on the front lines of Just Cuts at Ballina. And, mate, he's fucking producing enough haircuts to keep the world going round.
That's it, man.
He's producing food and a paycheck for 14 children in Rajasthan. And he's just back there just doing absolute God's work. I mean, have a look at me. A masterpiece. And shout out to Scotty too, the Swellian. Of course, he can't fucking go anywhere in this joint without bumping into a Swellian. He sat next to me there in Just Cuts as we waited over 2 hours for our haircuts. So 2 hours past the allotted time and making idle chit chat. As you do. He's a lovely Spiro, surfer, single dad of 2. And, the moment I sit in the hot seat and Nassim starts greasing up his scissors, he suddenly turns into the Ray Warren of haircut commentary. Didn't miss a follicle as it hit the deck. Oh, it was a good shape out to the right there. And oh no, he's butchered that. Oh, Butterfingers. Oh, it's hit the deck. That's a terrible unforced error. Mate, look, go on, fair go, Scotty, mate. Just chill.
Yeah.
Chill on the commentary. Poor old Nassim. I'm watching him in the mirror there, and
just with every like high pitched judgment of each snip, Nassim's hands just start shaking.
Oh, you're trembling. I could see the beads of sweat rolling down his forehead. He looked like Tom Cruise guessing whether to snip the yellow or green or red wire in Mission Impossible. Fuck, he earned his money, Nassim, but geez, did a good job. Well played.
I just love that fucking. If anyone can recognise the plight of the Just Cuts hairdresser, it's Smithy, mate.
Never forget the blue collar butlers.
Don't you worry about that.
That's
Smithy's
right.
got your back at Just Cuts.
Mate, fuck it, hell. That's probably phase 2. Is the hammer and sickle just lopping the top off, short
mate.
back and sides, high top fade with the hammer and sickle.
It's funny, mate. Let's be honest. It can set your life on fire for a good 3 months, or it can just end you. You just look in the mirror and you just hate yourself. The pressure
It's
is
immense
insane
pressure
on someone else.
It's immense pressure.
Yeah.
And just the turnover rate, unbelievable. Just getting them in and out and in and out and in and out. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
No, well done. Well done. I'm so thrilled that we finally recognised this just unheralded, uncelebrated faction of Australian hard workers.
This one's for you, Nassim. Get down there to Ballina Just Cuts and give the man a nice little bucksheesh.
Finger bang.
Finger buns.
The Oi Rio
So
Pro is upon us, Vaughn.
It is. It
and
is.
there are 3 lubed up Brazilians wearing nothing but G-bangers, waving around fresco butts
Yep.
and banging on the door of the top 5. They're about to kick that thing off the fucking hinges if the axis of goodwill, Smithy, Ewing, and Griffin Colapinto don't pull their fingers out, mate, because these Brazzos, they are wearing the iron fist in the velvet glove, in a rubber glove, with one finger stuck out. And they're just ready to go right in and give it to them on home soil, mate. It's, I hope that defending bottom three of the top five are ready to jinga, they're ready to samba, because it is turning up a notch. This is one of the contests of the year terms of what it proposes for the top five situation and the context of the year.
What a difference a year makes. This time last year, you and I, mate, it was like we had just been fed Rohypnol by the fucking WSL for good 3 comps in a row.
I was on the Murray Cod for 6 months.
I know, you just sort of drifted off, and next thing you knew, you wake up in the back of the WSL van, pants around ankles, just going, what happened to me here? I fell asleep for 3 months, and all of a sudden...
I thought we were mates.
But this is such a great year, man. Fuck, somehow it's what it is just that slow start from the Brazilians at the start of the year, and no one even within the fucking beast, well, not a bee's dick, fucking Shaquille O'Neal's dick of the top 5. And here they come, and they are just, like dead set, if these 3 guys, Iago, Italo, and Gabe, like, if they don't come up against each other in the early stages of this draw, you can see all 3 of them get to the semis. And that has got to make the squid rings, the dot, the elastic band that cuts off the big ones in Smithy, Ewing, and who's the other one? Griffin. Oh, mate, that they're nervous squid rings right now. They're nervous.
Oh, big time. I mean, can you imagine the fever pitch home crowd on the beach there? You got Griffin, the pride of America. On the skids, hardcore, last place at Chopes, round of 16 loss in El Salvador on account of some Brazilian classical gamesmanship. So you can imagine the mentality he's going to be bringing into this event. He's not going to get done twice in those kind of circumstances.
Nah.
He was conspicuously quiet after the El Salvador event, didn't want to breathe any life into some kind of ethnic national war between the Brazzos and the Americans. Wise move. You don't want to give any extra motivation to those sleeping giants just outside the top 5. Fuck, mate, it's going to be unmissable, and it's going to be that classical beach break crapshoot, which brings about, just that kind of the priority tangles, the gamesmanship. It is the kinds of conditions purpose-built for Brazilians to do well. I mean, their skill sets are purpose-built by these kinds of conditions. No one does it better than Medina, Iago, and Italo when they're on in these kinds of cons. I actually can't wait for this. It's just got everything, so many narratives, and I love the amount of drama and suspense that comes out of that beach break environment. It's just so chaotic. And, the cons might be, it's not Cloudbreak or Chopes or J-Bay, but there's something unmissable about that. It's very relatable to, as we often talk about. And then to Cloudbreak after this, where you got 3 goofs, Brazilian goofs, 2 of whom are as good as anyone in those kinds of cons, at least in recent memory. Italo just winning Chopes. Gabe, basically the GOAT at Chopes, apart from the GOAT, and Iago, a wizard in frontside cones. It's highly rippable, big alley-oops, big airs. So they're going to be backing themselves big time in these next 2 events, these next 3 surfers, and it's really up to Ewing, Geordie Smith, and Griffin to muscle up and get a result here. They're going to be backside at Cloudbreak. Obviously, all of them can do a job there, but this is the big one.
Isn't it classic, man? Like, there's no comfort for Geordie, Ethan, and Griff in the fact that they're going to Cloudbreak after. In years gone by, you'd be going, well, all right, we'll give the Brazilians Brazil, and then we'll go and get a little bit of this thundercloud into us and see how they go. But, as you say, mate, that those guys are so proven in those waves. They're so hungry. They're tactically fucking masterful at places like Cloudy. Such a big playing field. We've seen Gabe use the entire fucking reef to his advantage, where he'll I think there was a heat against Chloe one year where he just paddled him so far up to the third ledge.
That's right,
Caught
yes.
a tiny little chip shot whitewash back to
into
the
the honey
takeoff
pot.
zone. Gets a
Genius.
fucking 9. You're just like,
Unbelievable.
how do you compete with that? And that's not even their home crowd. That's just they're all going to be frothing to get there. It's just such a fascinating sort of place that we're at with this year's title race. And I'm with you. I haven't looked forward to Brazil this much since freaking, I can't even remember when, man. Maybe since Occy was potentially going to win a world title there in '99. It just
Fanning,
seems so
locking one in.
Fanning, there you go, 2007. So, yeah, this is such an amazing opportunity for all of those guys in that top 10 convo to start really putting the pressure on for that top 5 spot. So sick.
Mate, it's New South Wales up 1-0 going to Lang Park.
Yes,
that's
it's
what
exactly
it is.
that. It's exactly that. Yeah, there's so much energy going into this comp. I've definitely got the froth dripping out of the old lactating nips, mate. The nips are swollen. They're plump. They're dripping on the floor. Get on here and have a fucking go at this juice, Smithy. It's fucking sweet, bro.
Oh, I can smell it. And, Jackie.
It's just colostrum. It's just colostrum.
Okay.
The milk's coming in any day now, mate.
Oh, that's good.
First hooter. Bang. Yeah, if I hear a baby crying or see a fucking half-decent swell on the horizon, these things are just going to soak this T-shirt all the way down to these socks, mate.
And Jackie Robbo, he's in second. And I don't know if he's completely safe either. And this is not an event that necessarily suits him, although, fuck, he's a wizard, mate. He can perform anywhere. Cloudbreak, you'd think, plays definitely a bit more into his hands. And you're not expecting him to fail twice after his meager result at Chopes. John locked in for the top 5 already. In the women's, though, also a massive event. It's a very open field. Breeza Hennessy looking to arrest a bit of a skid. The real interest, though, is the Pickle and Joanne DeFay, 4th and 5th. They are playing big-time defense. The Pickle hasn't had a result since sunset and just basically had an abominable run in recent events. And Joanne DeFay, not much better. She's had an identical season. She's on the exact same tally as the Pickle.
Yep.
But, you got Gabriella Bryan. Betty Lou's going to be really suited to these
Tatiana's on the
times.
flare-up. Man, this is...
One big result for Tyler could send us straight into the top 5.
This is the best thing about the women's event, and this one in particular as well, is if Tyler gets a result here, say she gets a win, it's almost like cat amongst the pigeons shit. You're just going, well, where's the form guide of this women's tour? Like, at the moment, definitely with Katie, but, yeah, I feel like this could be... this will either solidify the top 5 or put a little bit of distance if we can see some sort of consistency with those women who are at the lead, or it could just go, basically, cherry bomb in a toilet, just go explode, and names will just be raining, and God knows where we'll be. But it's sort of, for the women's, this event really sets up Cloudbreak as the best comp of the year for the women's tour, I think. It's nowhere near as sort of telling unless Katie and the top 5 sort of flex a bit here. It won't be anywhere near as telling as the men's. So this comp for the men's for me is just so crazy. Cloudbreak for the women's, depending on what happens here, could just be comp of the year.
Yeah, you expect Breeza Hennessy to do well there and consolidate her position
For sure.
in the top 5. It's basically, one of her home breaks. It's built that backside no-hands approach of hers. Marksy out there, a couple of rolling big cones. I could see her front side doing well there. Simmersy, backside, not a huge strength, but I imagine she's going to do well here. Her beach break, hi-fi, new school tech.
Quick twitch.
Yeah,
Quick twitch.
couple finners, that's going to be that's going to be hard to beat.
Exactly.
I think she's going to get a strong
I mean,
result.
far out. It's like you kind of want to see some big chunky shit. Like, just throw that little X factor in there too, and just see how that plays into people.
Yeah, Gabriella Bryan is the real threat. She's on fire.
Yep.
She's laying down some of the most lead-footed lines that have ever been seen in the history of women's surf, and just fucking brutal woman hacks. Whoa, man hacks. And, she's found her mark. She's in a rich vein of form. Fuck, mate. She's a Hawaiian, so moving to Cloudbreak, that's going to kind of play to her strengths, that long period Pacific juice. Then a couple of horseshoeing rights at Trestles potentially. But fuck, I just cannot wait to see Marksy and Simmersy go toe-to-toe at Trestles. I think that's almost a foregone conclusion at this point.
It is. Yep. Great comp coming up. Don't miss it. Sack a rimmer. It might actually give us a rimmer here, Smithy. Feeling good about it.
Pretty pissed weak if you ask me.
Huey Konoff in the archipelago, bruh.
What about this?
Mate, Josh Kerr tagging his daughter Sierra into one of the filthiest NAS orb fests you're ever likely to see. As cosmic as it gets, literally finished a heat of stuffing his face in Mother Nature's wide open gamut before his daughter paddles out the very next heat and does the same thing.
Yeah.
And what a clinic the father-daughter duo put on. Kersey surfing all the way to the final on a 20 before getting done by Winter Vincent. Sierra Kerr dropping a perfect 10.
Yep.
She was at HT's a couple of days later getting a fucking 10-foot stand tall as well. Thank you very much, but that is surely unprecedented. A father-daughter in the duo in the same contest.
It's so
gone back to back.
Mad. It's
mad.
so mad. It's mad. Smithy, when I was like watching that play out, I was going, what a bummer. They can't actually meet in a heat against each other. But they might. Are they both surfing in this J-Bay special that's coming up?
I'm not sure.
They are.
Are they?
They are. So they could actually, I don't know if they're doing a men's and women's divisions in this J-Bay comp. There's a WSL specialty event slated for like the next week or two. Invite only, insane surfers, but I'm sure Sierra and Josh have got invites to that thing. So how's this like late career, non-intentional renaissance that Josh Kerr's having? Like everywhere he goes, he's getting coned out of his dial.
Mate.
Every board he rides just looks like a magic carpet under his feet. And it seems like all he's really doing is going to these places just to support Sierra and get her schooled on these waves. And they're just having such a hell time of it, Smithy.
Next minute, he's just bagging clip after clip.
Yeah, I mean, I want to have a talk to
field.
Alfie. I want to have a talk to Alfie because, look, Alfie took us camping at Sandbar, but fucking where was my trip to HT's and Nias, Dad? Come on, mate. Yeah, so insane that they're getting to share not just the experience of going to these places, not just the experience of, like Josh's wisdom of having been there and knowing the stress of what a surf career is, like the travel, the meaning behind winning and losing, like all of this wisdom that he gets to share, but on top of it all, getting coned out of your fucking eyeballs with your kid. And like, the fact that she's on this cutting edge of like women surfing that is going to change the world, like it already is, but it's going to happen for a little while to come. And he was that guy. He was the guy changing the world with the fucking corrupt flips and all that shit.
And
it's madness.
Reminded us of such with a club singer in that NIAS comp for fucking high sevens, still doing it. That's still a move that you seldom see in a contest jersey. It's that technical.
And his
fundamentals are just so good, mate. I mean, anyone who comes off the Super Bank, they're fucking phenomenal in the orb. Behind the rock, he's as technical and psycho as it gets. And look, mate, the guy, he was a middle of the road tour surfer, never really contested for a world title, but one of the, he's kind of in that Dane Reynolds category as one of those heats you just had to see. So much X factor and just an absolute vortex shaman of the highest order. You'll see him up there on the cliffs of the local slabs in his robe, consuming the sacred sacrament, writing down notes on the sacred parchment.
That's it.
Outgoing tide.
Charging his Murph bike.
That's right.
Sipping away on his bolter. And he's a fucking... Yeah, he's just built a life for himself, this guy, mate. The wisdom is just so there, though. Like, that's what I love about it. He just seems so tapped in. He's like a little wise man.
He's
like
a very jolly character too, isn't he? Very friendly, jolly, jovial, Australian battler. Got kind of tarred unfairly as some uppity, arrogant upstart. Remember that? I don't know where that came from.
I kind of feel
early
like
on in his career. I don't know. I think it was maybe a bit of rivalry between the Cooley kids and Kersey.
There was. The early days, there wasn't a whole lot of... he was kind of a late addition or maybe a late starter at Snapper. I can't remember exactly
like
what
Steph
happened. But
Gilmore, Molly Picklum kind of dynamic where
that sort of thing,
the younger upstarts coming up and dropping psycho turns. and the old guard or the more established crew want to put him in their place, put him in his place.
Yeah.
And, but, mate, one of the greats.
But look what he ended up doing too. He ropes them all, the Cooley kids, into the Bolter deal with Beatty Durbidge. And, I think they did a pretty fucking good out of that, Smithy, just quietly. Yeah.
And then St. Archer's Brewing too, wasn't that?
Yeah, St. Archer's before that.
Setup?
He's got the Murph bike set up. He's an entrepreneur.
Album surfing.
No doubt. And then, of course, he contributed in a major way to Joel Parko's 2012 world title by knocking out the GOAT in their quarter or semi-final before, going to hospital and getting his shoulder fixed up after bouncing off the bottom. And then he was in the final against Joel, and Joel gets his first contest win of the year against Kersey. He's played a massive role in surf history, this kid, man. When I say kid, talking about pretty ancient, old, fossilised body these days, but he's still doing the club singer.
Oh, mate, he's still doing a club singer and still playing a massive role in surfing.
That's it.
He's ushering in the next generation of super freak female talent. Sierra, can't wait to see what she does.
But, man,
inevitably graduates the world tour.
That NIAS comp, I said this to you when I got home from, the Southeast Asia QE. The regional queue, mate. That's the dream tour.
Yeah.
Like, you go from Cloud 9 to freaking this awesome little Trestles wave in Taiwan, and then there's a wave pool event that's actually really fun in Pump and Surf, and there's a few other events that they do around that back half of the year. But the first half of the year is crewy. It was like 6 foot every day, rippable lefts, overhead, dead glassy, straight into the biggest cone fest we've ever seen. Like, the queue, mate. The queue, not the Changers. The queue is where it's at, Smithy.
100%. And the travel budget, minimal, it's like 50 thou here, 50 thou there, Nazi Gorings, Nazi Goring Special if you're feeling a little decadent. Maybe an extra bang bang and a tall binny for din dins.
Oh, how good's that?
It's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
None of this fucking forking out some bullshit visa tax to go to fucking some European jerk fest and get rinsed by a bunch of fucking pencil-necked, pencil-pushing cocksuckers just milking you every step of the way. We're just humble waxheads.
Yeah, mate.
Give us a free pass.
Well,
we just want to surf, get a couple of ratings points, and get onto the world tour.
It's so affordable, and all these Groms are scoring, bruh. Look at the pits they got. Like, tell me.
Xavier Hux, the perfect 20.
20.
Tully Wiley just manhandling, big bad Tully
was he
Wiley.
less than a point off a perfect 20 as well, like combined? I think he had a 9.53 and a 9.88. Like, he was less than 1 point off a perfect heat.
So good to see a big man, a big body, just wrangling it backside. Loved his approach. Kobe Clements getting it all kicked off with that airdrop to a little kick stall under the hood for a fucking filthy chamber. But my favourite two waves, I think it was Mare Satiriwan who got the one. The guy got the one because that was just the most perfect orb that came through the entire event. That was a perfect 10. And what is his name? Rio O'Hara?
Ryaru Ito, I think.
That's the guy, the cucumber farmer from the Chiba Prefecture. Got a perfect 10 and fucking hell, cat-like nimble reflexes backside in the cone. Steve's master.
Shoved his QE just deep in the vortex, and mate, when you do that, you know it's going to get covered in spray and spat out.
Oh yeah, just rock hard cucumber, just tickling, adding a little bit of drag and ballast.
Yeah,
great performance
it
all
was
around.
Amazing.
And
Willow Hardy, mate, another
perfect 10.
Monstro backside, like straight off the back of Erin Brooks getting this tube that everyone's going, best backside tube ever ridden. Fucking Willow Hardy just shoves her frame into this just gargling, thick, perfect fucking NIAS orb. You're like, wow.
A few reps at North Point didn't do her any harm.
No, it
Full
didn't.
foam ball jockey, and what a dynasty it is. Bret Hardy, Gene Hardy, Ryan Hardy. Yeah, it's hard to think of a family who's seen more Vishnu than those cosmic, sacred monks of the Cone Order.
Imagine the froth they were feeling, though, because it's one thing to get your own orbs of mortal consequence, but when you see your little niece or your daughter just absolutely packing it and coming out, arms akimbo, flying high, it's got to feel good.
Oh, they were standing around the laptop in their robes, just omming and sucking up the energy. And, mate, a couple of sticking points, though, Vaughn.
Yeah, go.
Just a couple. I couldn't help but think, how do we exercise the American accent from Sierra Kerr? I mean, do we have to pin the eyeballs open, strap her to a chair in the cinema and just subject her to an endless Paul Hogan marathon until she's been fully purged of that awful Seppo twang. It's a disgrace.
What is it? It's Pavlov's theory where you do give them the Clockwork Orange treatment.
That's right.
Sit in a
Until
chair,
they're
strap
salivating
them
and
down.
just gaga.
Yeah.
And then you can reprogram them.
Hogs, the Crocodile Hunter.
Leyland Brothers, Steve
Brothers.
Irwin. Maybe even a few, post-game interviews, post-grand final NRL, just to get her that, give her that full houso patois, all the expletives. She needs to be deprogrammed. That's for sure, Vaughn. I know that. And another couple of things I wanted to just point out, Vaughn. A couple of unfortunate turns of phrase from the commentary team. Love the boys, Billy and
Snapped it.
and Mark Clifton.
Yep.
But look, it's just unfortunate. That's all you can say, Vaughn. When you're up there in the outer reaches of the archipelagos, bruh, it's easy to forget that you're being beamed into the lounge room of some pencil-necked Chriso jerk in Coffs Harbour who probably spat his mochaccino decaf all over his Excel spreadsheet when he heard these ones come out on the broadcast. Rosie Smart goes down the shaft. I mean, that's a bit much rinsed corn. I mean, there was no intent. No intent, but it's an unsavoury.
Yes.
And of a male competitor, I heard this one drop this clanger. He'll be searching for any hole he can get himself into. And
that just describes the queue throughout the entire 90s and early 2000s.
Indeed, it does. Yes, an absolute.
And there was no barrels around, mate. Let me tell you that.
No, it was just a exploration, a no holes barred exploration of the female and probably the male anatomy. A few saccarimas going down, no doubt. But the commentator actually stopped himself mid-sentence on that last one. He realised the murky territory he was entering and pulled back. Rightfully so, pulled back like he was staring down the deep, dark shaft of a double up at Nias.
Look, it is unfortunate. They do pop up from time to time. Who could ever forget the great Sean Thompson quote? There goes for Tia David, cranking himself all the way down the line. It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate. I'll drop it at all my favourite. Whenever I'm commentating, I always think of that because I'm like, it's true, but it's poorly communicated.
It's a perfect metaphor for what surfing is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're the masters of our own domain, just jerking and jabbing and jiving down the line, calling people off, demanding we get our fill over everyone else. It is one of the great
it's an unavoidable side effect of the job, Smithy. It's one of those hazards that you've just got to watch yourself. I mean, you and I have both done commentary in the past, and you and I have both been pulled up on occasions.
Oh, yeah, pulled up, pulled off, all of it.
Even at the single fin, mate, we've been in trouble
up
there. You would have thought that if there's one comp, you can pretty much get away with anything. That'd be the comp, and even up there, mate, some people get their fucking noses out of joint.
That's right, and I thought I was actually hired on the single fin to pump it full of innuendo and whatnot, but apparently not.
Nah. Not changed.
Not according to the YouTube commentariat, that is, Vaughn.
No, look, mate, unbelievable little run for the queue, the regional queue in Indo. It's combined events too, so it goes into the Australia Oceanic region and the Asia region. So sick. You get all the Japanese crew surfing against the Indo crew, surfing against the Aussies, surfing against the Kiwis. It's just it's a sick little travelling family, that.
Imagine the Euros and the Seppos. They'd be spitting chips looking out at the Huntington.
Oh, can you imagine it? One star in Virginia Beach. Just getting your ankles chewed by lemon sharks, and you're just watching this cone fest going, you fucking assholes.
What a fucking chip, man.
Dude.
You kidding me? It's orbs galore all throughout the islands, bruh.
Oh, I know,
Vaughn. Holy smokes. Nias was skits, as mentioned. Sierra Kerr obviously getting that filthy one at HT's just days after a 10 at Nias. And then... sorry. Gluttonous Orb Fest in the Archipelago Bar. Getting a bit of ahead of ourselves. Cole Rothman packing the Peniel at pumping no can doies. Nate Floz at matching HTs. biggest and best he'd surfed it, he reckons.
Without doubt.
Yeah, fuck, he made it look easy too. Holy smokes, those roll-ins. But yet again, just for context, adds a compilation of punters at the end of that clip just getting their asses fucking fed to them. You think the roll-in at HTs is just the Jerry Lopez cakewalk. Think again! Because, again, like as we mentioned in that last episode, the punters, they're doing everything right. You know, and they surf well enough, but it's just like that inability, they're kind of just hanging on, and they just that inability to get those little tic-tacs to project down the line and get the quads and core locked in and get that deep, stable bottom turn. And they're just that little bit behind the 8 ball, not quite in that pocket on the end section.
And probably just a little bit overcharged on the adrenaline. Like that's a whenever you're watching Nate paddling into a wave, it's just so silky and calm. Even if he's paddling hard, the takeoff has always got a little bit of airdrop in it or something that just gives him a moment to just sort of be in that space. Whereas I think a lot of crew are just fucking, like you say, holding on for dear life and the adrenaline spiking through the roof, getting in the right spot when everything's going that fast. Like for him, it looks like it's going slow. All good surfers look like they've got all the time in the world. For the rest of us, it's just like, geez, you can put yourself in some fucking horrendous positions.
Oh, my God. When it's 8 to 10 foot and you end up in the lip because you've rolled into one and not got far enough down the line or caught an outside rail because you've just stalled or slightly too hard. That's the real trap with the roll-in, isn't it? You come down this thing and you're just licking your lips, creaming your pants, just soiling the board short, and you end up too deep and just fucking get so minced.
And how much do you hate yourself underwater in that exact moment where you just catch the outside rail or you've just got a little bit of a bog going on, it just sucks you up the face, your head gets clipped, you're doing a cartwheel, and all you can think is, you fucking idiot.
You idiot.
You fucking clown.
Mate,
Go in right now, hang your head in shame, get back on the binnies, buy a pack of fucking Winnie Lights and just... yeah, have a good hard look at yourself, you fucking idiot.
Mate, if your lemon spread isn't a bag of Smith's Crisps after getting slammed on the reef, you're giving yourself a fucking Joan Duru treatment as you come up, because it is one of the worst feelings blowing a roll in.
On the flip side of that, how good does it feel when you just, like, say you are the punter, but you just have one of those days where everything's going right and you shiv it? Like, you're not just like, you're not coming through the roll in and sort of setting it up. You're like, you come in off the bottom turn of it and you just shiv it. Like, you give it a little kick in the nuts and you're just there and ready. Like, you're in the spot, like the good surfers do. It doesn't happen all the time, but far out. That's the opposite of going in with your tail between your legs. That's usually when you know you got a session on your hands.
Interesting to note, Nate actually surfed the perfect session, marathon session, and then got fucking whipped just once, and that was enough. He went straight in, called it. That is a rational and self-preservation approach to surfing waves of consequence, which I applaud, mate, far out, because some of the hidings, like, you can only really have one or two of them. When the waves are that size, you get one or two shots of getting a hiding before you're fucking splattered on the bottom.
And even if you do surf perfect out there, like, you get caught inside by a set and you're going to get a lot of your battery going down to zip. So, yeah.
Speaking of which, our battery's just gone down to zip. I'll have to check this out one sec.
Go for it. But yeah, mate, Nate Floz, God, the POV footage of his session at HTs is...
How's the ones that...
It's orgasmic, dude.
The ones that explode out the back, how cosmic and tripped out that looks. I've never actually seen it from the perspective of someone in the lineup looking at that big pimple just going...
It's so sick, that footage. I just, like, it's so rare to be shocked by GoPro footage these days. You feel like you've seen it all. You've seen them from, like, inside 18-foot cloud break and all that stuff, but that's some of the best I've seen. That one where it's planted on the tail and it's looking up at the body and you get the height, the scale of the lip line. It's just, it's a work of art, mate. Get ready for your Emmy. Best cinematography. It's coming your way.
Mate, and what a setup. I mean, it's crazy that a wave can explode like that on a random back ledge and hold its shape like that, to be still that ruler edge as it hits the inside ledge. Oh, man, it is a one-of-a-kind setup, HTs, when it's got that rolling thing going on.
Such a sick wave. And, I always marvel at the fact that you can basically walk into any pizza shop or ice cream store or wherever there's a TV and they're showing a bit of surfing, and you just know the wave like a mate. Hey, you reckon? Just from years and years of being a surf nerd, just copping these things, and that's just one of those waves you look at and it just something sparks in your deep inner surfer. Like, it's the ultimate cheat code, isn't it? Roll into fucking stand tall. That's all anyone wants. It's a dream. It's a fantasy, Smithy.
It is. And I'm claiming Taj Burrow still has the one out there. I reckon he still topped Nate Florence. It was in a Globe edit a while ago.
Oh, I
remember that one?
Yeah,
That
that's
thing's
so massive. I'd love to
fucking
compare
humongous.
it. We'll have a look. Maybe even put it on the gram so you see what the Swellians reckon, mate.
Now, talking about self-preservation and taking it easy and knowing when to pull the pin, Nick Von Rupp's session at Greenbush was the polar opposite of that, where it's just absolute fucking gluttony, the craziest cones, and it inevitably ends in disaster for his core lord mate who fucking was just shrouping, dominating natural footer, blonde hair. But man, he gets fucking minced, and it's consecutive swells like that where the same things happened. Where he's just been absolutely flogged on the bottom, full, like, has to be a psycho concussion, big split in the back of the head, you know, shave the head, fucking super glue and stitch it up to on the back of the boat, cuddle over his back. And at that point, it's like, was it worth it?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? For that vision, for, you know, fucking probably 10 to 15 of the waves of your life. But I'm sure they all have kind of merged into one, like, if you're even lucky enough to remember the session at all. No gaff on. Mate, you got to be smarter than that, don't you? You got to pull the pin. The gluttony, it's the one thing I've learned from this knee injury, which was, again, the result of gluttony. Look, I'm as fucking to blame as anyone. But, mate, I'm just, the secret surely at this point is to surf for less time, but surf more. Because the longer you're out there, the more the fatigue creeps in. Your reflexes, they just get a bit sloppy, and you start to lose all those millimeters here and there. You're a bit later in, you have less control and less say over when you're jumping off. You know, you're not able to kind of get into and tuck into a ball and a safe position underwater. And all those millimeters add up to a serious injury, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd love to know the stats on when is the average time that people score the best wave of their session.
It's got to be second wave. Second or
reckon?
third wave, yeah.
You reckon it's early? I reckon it's like, for me to be about 40 minutes. I reckon I'm about half an hour in. This is like from my experience of like getting in rhythm with it, getting a couple, copping a couple of licks, and then just sort of going, all right, I'm in the spot, and knowing that you're going to get it. Like, isn't it weird that those waves, you can see them the second they pop up? Like, you know it's going to be the one. And, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to recall times in my life where it was first or second wave. It's only like one or two, and there's only one or two that it was the last wave. But lots of times it's been right in the middle after a couple of good ones and or one pretty serious hiding. So, yeah, it's weird. I think there's it's like, you know, when you get flogged on a big day, it actually exhausts you to the point where your adrenaline just can kind of leave your body for a bit. It's usually in that space for me, anyway. Not a heavy beating, though. Not one where you like fuck proper flexed. Just those ones where you kind of come up laughing, going, fuck, righto, all right, yeah, all right. There's a little area of respect I've got to be aware of here.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm in a similar time frame. You know, first wave's a loosener.
Yeah.
It's like the second, third, fourth, in that kind of post 10 minutes period where you're warmed up. You've had a bit of time to lock into the rhythm of the lineup, the rotation and all that. But, mate, it's hard. It's very hard to go in when it's pumping.
It's
hard. Nigh on impossible. And for a lot of my life, I've run on the mantra that if it's pumping, I don't go in. I don't go in till it stops pumping.
Yeah.
Because pumping waves are so fucking rare and hard to find, and you spend so much money and resources getting to them. But at the end of the day, and it's interesting, isn't it? You always kind of justify. That's always a metric that plays into your surfing. It's
Yeah.
like, how much money and time did I spend to get here? You start to kind of see it through a material lens. And that is a real folly. And it's just, mate, it's really hard to have a level of restraint when the waves are cooking. And you see Nate, he goes in at the end of this clip at HTs and it's fucking firing, and he's second guessing himself constantly. He's looking out there at offshore cones blowing their guts out, and it's hard for him.
Yeah.
But he does the right thing, because if you do get hurt, mate, the material loss at that point, you're talking 6 months, year out of the water. It's a fucking nightmare for work obligations. Your relationships fall apart because you're in a bad mood. You're a fucking hassle to be around. Your missus has got to do all your shit for you. If you got kids, fucking hell, you're not wiping their ass. They're wiping yours.
Yep.
It's a debacle.
Nah, it is.
Factor that in.
It's funny, man. I really feel like where I'm at with staying surf healthy is unlike any other time in my life. Like, I'm 47 now, and I just don't fucking get on skateboards anymore. I just refuse to. I was at Crescent Head, and I got my stepdaughter was cold, and I went, I'll just skate down to the car and get you a jumper. Hit a rock. Woke up, like lying on my back, Smithy, and I was like, there's these 3 fucking old cunts with drinking long necks standing over me going, you all right, bro? You just got fucking whipped. And I was like, that's it. I'm done with that shit, because the only thing that I want to keep doing until I cannot fucking get out of me, out of my chair is surfing. That's it. So I have minimised that, and what also plays into that is how I manage my time in the surfs, and not wave selection so much. Like, I really love challenging myself on waves that feel a little bit dangerous, but I definitely don't like that feeling of being tired and having no power in my arms when I'm paddling and losing those inches you're talking about. Fucking oath, man, I don't want anything to do with that. I go straight to the boat, start, smoking and drinking and doing all things like that. No, I just go straight to the boat and get me water in and have a snack and just go, I'll give it a rest and see how I'm feeling. Because I just don't want to be in a place in my life where I can't surf, man. It's fucking
thought
of it.
Oh, it's the pit.
The thought of it is enough to keep me from being a fucking stupid cunt about
And
it.
that's what you got to think about when you're in the lineup and you're milking it, and you're past your best, you're past the use by date, the lactating froth has gone sour. Take yourself in. Take yourself in.
Take yourself in, Swellians. Look after yourself.
Plenty more wave.
Plenty more wave.
Plenty more wave.
More wave come.
Yeah, on back. Bunyak.
Yeah.
But you were saying too, Vaughn, that when you got that concussion and those 3 men were standing over you, and as the kind of haze and fog filtered in, their hair follicles disappeared, and you end up staring at 3 versions of yourself going, I used to be you, mate. I used to be you, just skipping down the road on me little surf skatey to pick up the towel for me stepdaughter, and next minute me fucking meniscus was grated cheese.
And now I'm just here with me King Brown and me rollies with 2 other fellas who can't be fucked to get out there or can't do it because the aches and pains are just too real. And here we are watching some other cunt join the club.
That's it. Heed the premonitions. See the writing on the walls. Don't fucking blow it, Swellians. Correct, Vaughn. It's orbs galore, as we mentioned, throughout the islands, bruh.
Yeah.
All over the planet. And the chicks are getting amongst it. As we mentioned, Willow Hardy, Sierra Kerr.
Yep.
But how about this thing Erin Brooks has stuffed herself into in Tiapo? Uh-oh.
Mate, that is insane. Like, where do we even compare this? What do we compare this to? Kiala Kennelly's, like, just death bomb from years and years ago? Code Red?
Yeah, it's in the mix. I'm sure Vahine Fierro's got a handful of fucked up ones too.
Yeah.
But, this thing blew out so hard. I'm surprised it just didn't blow her into the heavens.
Yeah.
Straight up on some kind of magical rainbow unicorn, never to be seen again.
That's it, man. Yeah, it could have actually just blown her all the way to South America. It just fucking spat its guts so hard. The spray is so intense. And I know those things sting, man.
Oh, yeah.
Even with Gathon, they sting.
Oh, yeah.
That'll sting you. That'll peel your fucking skin off.
I hope she had the Red Bull gaff on her head. I hope she had a Red Bull had given her some kind of gaffer tape for the corn. Because the fucking gurney of the dot would have just been severe.
Severe. And, I think you need like a Kevlar suit some sort of protection. from that.
Chainmail.
Yeah, because you can honestly come in looking like you've been dragged behind a fucking car along the M1. I mean, that's how hard it stings. That's how shredded your skin can get. But that was just such a wave, man. I'll whack it back up on the ground. We've already posted it once, but I'll do it again.
But yeah, how about the ovaries on the 16-year-old Wunderkind?
So crazy.
Just skits, the egg jam, potent, pungent. And has she been given the nod? She didn't get the nod for the Olympics in the end, did she?
Don't think so. No, I'm not.
Flagged at the fucking
There's
dogs.
definitely one Canadian.
Really?
In there. I'm pretty sure I saw that, but I don't know. Nah,
Jump ship too late, didn't she?
She will have, for this Olympics.
Oh.
But 16, let's think about it. Next Olympics, she'll be 20. Next Olympics after that, 24. Next Olympics after that, 28. Potentially, the way that surfers are going in their careers now. She could do 4 or 5 Olympics, no problem.
Mate, she'll be post-menopause and she'll be still packing it in cones and mortal Konaquins, racking up the copper for 4th place or whatever they give. I mean, theoretically, I don't know if they're expanding the medal scenario in the Olympics. But
is that what
that's what I heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Copper.
And then they're going down to alloy and for last
aluminium
place.
foil.
Yeah, you get a little wooden spoon.
You get a little piece of cardboard wrapped up in aluminium foil. There you go, mate.
That's it.
That's
and,
your encouragement award.
Yeah, maybe even a vial full of medicinal high-grade Californian skunk and a little bit of foil.
Oh,
That'd be
love
good.
that. That's a medal we can all get behind, Smithy.
Oh, Vaughan, but before we get to number one, too, let's not forget Swellness Afloat out there in the islands.
Holy smokes. Can you believe it? How's your timing of your injury, mate? You were
Unbelievable.
all booked in.
It's a lesson.
Ready to go away with Birch, do some breathing, see some Vishnu.
And then I get gluttonous at the point and fuck me knee. Just
Yeah.
classic gluttony. That's what it costs you, Swellians.
It does.
Let it be known. And, mate, look, no jokes here, Vaughan, because with all the swell that's been battering the archipelago and the southwest of Australia, mate, it's been waves of consequence, no doubt about it. A couple of days up in Indo in that 10-foot plus range, and there's been a couple of fatalities, was sad to report. Southwest WA Hellman Aaron Beveridge died on a massive day at his local big wave spot. Tom Pearsall penned this glowing eulogy for Aaron. As you know, in every lineup, you have nemesis and magnets. Magnets who you're drawn to sit with because they have a great energy to be around. Azza was a magnet for many. He knew the joint as good as anyone, never got ruffled, always down for a chat, had his share of injuries over the times and would recover by body surfing or just swimming around in the lineup. He was a cruiser to the core, got his responsibilities done, loved his family and went surfing. It's funny, sometimes you maybe don't legitimize the car park relationships you have, like other friendships, possibly because you don't catch up for dinners or maybe even know their full name. When you surf as much as we do, they are some of the people you spend the most time with. And between waves, you let off steam with a laugh, with getting parenting tips. Az had 3 kids he was so proud of, put things in perspective for me last year being a new dad. And eventually get to know deeply after many years of good times, the best times. So rest in peace to Aaron Beveridge. He was a friend of Christy Smythe, the Swellness Pilgrimage icon, blue-collar grit merchant. I know she'll be hurting at the moment, so thoughts and prayers with you, Christy, and Aaron's 3 children. And yeah, man, fucking Southwest WA, it is the home of the Core Lord, big wave, Hellman.
And Azza had a mad crack too, man. Some of the photos I saw that popped up, just really fucking big waves and just, looks like a guy who did it for the right reasons, sounds like a guy who did it for the right reasons, just got amongst the juice, loved being in the nature. A lot of the West crew are like that, but RIP and far out, you got to think of all the people. It's such a small community. The Core Lords are everywhere, but they are all together in some ways. They all know each other. They kind of roll in the same circles. And, it must be a tough one. RIP, mate.
And it looked like the swell was in the 10 to 12 foot plus range. Like mondo waves of consequence. And, it's just a warning about how dangerous this caper is. Like a 2-wave hold down, your leggy getting snagged on rocks, a concussion, a knockout, a fin chop. Fuck, there's a lot of ways to go down. And yeah, another death in the Mentz. Eric Foraker, a seasoned surfer and owner of the Southern Mentwai Outpost Resort located at Thunders in the Mentz. He tragically drowned during that run of swell. A source told Stab the incident occurred while he was surfing at Rags Left. Foraker was swept over the reef by a 10-foot wave and due to darkness could not be located until the following morning. He was a husband and a father to a teenage son and young daughter and had been a fixture in the Mentz surfing community for over 20 years. Previously, the captain of the Addiction, a 24-metre high-speed catamaran that had floated thousands of visiting surfers over the years. Awful stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, man, I'm just... You know, on the back of Makala Jones passing away last year and just how fucking radical that kind of just the shockwaves that sent through surfing. But, you know, it's no less tragic or less shocking whenever you hear of any death up in the islands or anywhere for that matter. Surfers, you mentioned it last week, Smithy, like we're just out there just trying to have fun. Like at the end of the day, it's just such a harmless pursuit in many ways. You just want to get this feeling of health and energy and fucking vitality into your blood. And so when we lose someone, it's just a full shock to the system because it actually does remind you just how treacherous and scary and fucking how just razor edge the line is between being alive and being gone.
Yeah, I heard an amazing quote.
Pretty mad, man.
Totally.
Radical.
And it seems to be the things that the pursuits that can kill us are also the ones that make us feel alive. And surfing is such a classic example that we all live for hollow waves, but there is no such thing as a soft hollow wave.
No.
Whether it's 2 foot or 20, they all have the power to drill you into a sandbank or reef and cause serious injury. And surfing's gotten to that point. I mean, look, it's always been there. I mean, you go back to the 70s, you know, some of those Dick Hool films at Nias, the freaking Japanese guy nearly dying there, copping a board to the face or whatever. Jerry Lopez at Pipeline, you know, nearly dying. Right through to Jamie O'Brien, you know, breaking both legs. John breaking backs. Zhao Chianca fracturing his skull from the inside out. Yeah, it's... I don't know what to say about it because none of us are going to stop doing it, but you got to be careful, man, and you got to take the necessary precautions. And you're starting to see that happen to a degree. You know, your Koa Smiths, your Zhao Chunkas wearing headgears in the surf, whether it's 2 foot or 20.
Yep.
At this point, helmets seem to just be a logical step, given the kinds of waves that punters and pros alike are sending themselves into.
Yeah, and it's not going backwards either. Like, no one's... the amount of people infiltrating lineups on the heaviest days of the year now is just fucking hard for me to get my head around. That was the exclusive domain of the mythical core fucking one guy in your town surfed it kind of space. Now, it's chockers, mate. It's chockers with all sorts of surfers of all sorts of ability. Everyone wants to go at it. I mean, it comes with very, very real consequences. And if you're not going to fucking helmet up, at the very least, you're putting yourself in a high-risk situation. So, yeah, I'm with you. I feel like, and that doesn't just go for, 10-foot surf. That goes for, like, draining 2-footers that can just flip you in an instant. And, a fucking hard-packed sandbank is just as deadly as a razor reef that's 10 foot if you get flipped.
The amount of spinal injuries in sandbottom beach breaks,
brutal.
Underreported
For sure.
under-realised. Trippy timing, Eric's passing, because a day earlier, Stab had published a piece of mine, 1,000 Ways to Die in Indonesia, that I'd written, I reckon it was a good 6 months ago. It was ages ago. And they just sat on it. It's fucking 6,000 words long, and it's probably the longest piece I've ever had published. But it was basically zeroing in on this fact of just how dangerous Indo is. It's so often portrayed as this perfect paradise with ruler edge waves with no kinks and glitches in them. But at the end of the day, like, you're looking at the longest wall of water, and unless you can confidently thread a 4 to 6 second barrel, mate, you're going to get hurt. It's a guarantee. It's so shallow and sharp. The periods are like minimum 13 seconds, serious energy, just absolutely hollowing out over reef breaks. And the article was also just about the fact, like, mate, I think about it all the time, how many people I've known who've died there. It's fucked up, man. Like, I can remember sitting around at Brad Master's house west of Chengdu with Brad, Gerhard, another South African surf photog, and MJ Makala, all looking at waves of Sabatu, that fucked up slab behind their ass. All those guys have since passed. It's wild.
Yeah, that's heavy.
And, like, you know, another bloke who just got hooked on the fucking Xannies and alcohol, just died of a drug overdose. Another bloke who died of suicide, and then the fucking injuries, mate.
Oh,
like, just wild motorcycle accidents. And, you know, Alan Byrne, when he passed, and it's a dangerous joint, mate. It's lawless. There's no law. It's fend for yourself. The people are beautiful. The place is beautiful. It's my favorite place on earth, but it's just all things in perfect balance. It's as good as it is bad. So heads up, Swellians, when you're traveling in the archipelago, because it is fucking dicey.
Smithy, we actually had, and I'll just bring this up now because we've got Ask Us a Question coming up soon. But one of the questions we got sent, believe it or not, was just from a guy. What is it here? Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so this is from Luke Egan, not the Luke Egan, but another bloke out there with the Instagram handle Luke Egan. He said, "Hey Jed, hope all is well. Hoping you can offer some words of wisdom for my young mate who's about to embark on his first solo Indo journey. He's now a Swellian, so he's already on the right track, Egan's little mate. But I really think we could use this as a great opportunity, Louis, to send your mate to this story.
Smithy's do's and don'ts for the archipelago, bruh.
Yeah.
I reckon, as a rule of thumb, have a generosity of spirit everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But also no bullshit. You have to be straight up and down. Like, you know, when I was living there, I spent 3 years living there. I wasn't in a position to be coughing up money. I don't come from money. I don't make good money. And so I just can't be fucking leaking coin to every cunt, sadly. But that just meant that I was just real straight up with people, but always like super respectful of culture.
Yep.
Very generous of spirit. But yeah, I just didn't have a whole lot of loot to part with. If you do, fucking part with it if you like. I mean, and I think that ultimately just goes a long way. And you'll notice whenever you're hurt or whenever something goes bad, mate, there's Indos lining up to fucking help you. Always, wherever you go. It's an amazing place. The spirit of the people there is just second to none.
Yep.
Bali in particular. I remember Jim Banks saying that, you know, when the fucking glut of gentrification and tourism came, he split with his family, jumped on a boat, searching for the next Bali, did a couple of laps of the planet, never found it, came back.
Nah.
Now has a nice little cafe up there. I think it's Mango Tree on the Bukit. So go get yourself a frappe off the great Core Lord.
Love him. But yeah.
Any other tips? Only drink beer. Only drink beer. That was a Marlon Gerber tip. He never drinks spirits because you don't know what is in them. They're
pure ethanol.
Ethanol, methanol, Iraq.
He can bring you undone. The spirit game up there, mate. Big time.
Bad spirits, dark spirits lurking.
Always wear a helmet if you're on a bike. Like fucking, if you're going 2 blocks away, 1 block away, if you're going from your driveway 200 meters to the beach, put a helmet on because I worked with a guy who was editing the snowboarding mag, had his girlfriend on the back. They got cleaned up by a truck. Like just cleaned up. Fucking absolutely laid out. They both had to get airlifted back. Really gnarly, proper surgeries that may never heal in a lifetime. You know,
Ollie Dussett.
Yeah.
Mad Swellian, the corest of the core, obviously had to save his own life. Fucking hellman that he is after getting clipped by a cement truck.
The road rules, man, are so hectic over there. You just be, for God's sake, you know, like as the father of adult children now, I'm just like, you know, they're going to Vietnam for this year for a little holiday, and I'm just like, boys, just respect the culture, treat everyone nice, wear a fucking helmet.
Yeah, when you're crossing the road in Vietnam.
Yeah,
holy
I mean,
shit.
yeah.
But, yeah, Wayne Lynch going off a fucking dirt mound and nearly dying over there. And fuck, man.
Go slow, Smithy. That's a good one for
slow.
Indo too.
Get
The
Bluebird
Indos go
taxis.
slow. The
Oh,
Indos
dude.
are chilling.
Yeah, you notice
No one's in a hurry.
the only people going fast over there are people south of 25.
Yeah.
Everyone north of that age, once the prefrontal cortex is fully formed, they're all doing 30 clicks max. And that allows you to dodge the fucking giant piece of metal machinery that's just fallen off the back of a truck on Sunset Strip, bouncing along the road like Final Destination. It's like you're in Final Destination. Watch that film before going to Indo, Luke Egan, Grom, and just immerse yourself in the multitude of ways you can get your head cut the fuck off.
Under or over?
Over and under.
Well, Smithy, before we get into over and under, I just want to give a little shout out here to Billabong again, because as you know, they've been with us since day dot. They've been basically the Swellian. Ain't they Swell Live and Billabong side by side? But we've got this thing going on at the moment, mate, where we're going to give away a $500 voucher for Bongkron. We talked about it at length, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can imagine it. Imagine walking in a fucking
I imagine it all the time. It's one of the things I go to sleep thinking
Foster RSL to watch Grinspoon, and you're wearing fucking your best
Head
Bongkron outfit.
to toe.
Yeah, head to toe Bongkron. Don't have to buy or get on the glass Barbie like the rest of the crew before they fucking go to watch Grizzlies.
No, that's right.
Yeah, we'd go and we'd look fucking great.
But not Gemmo.
Gemmo wouldn't.
No.
No way, mate.
Fuck, those days are long gone.
Long gone, mate. So all you have to do is basically go to billabong.com.au/Swellians, sign up to that link, and you're just instantly in the draw. So the whole point is we want to find out who the Swellians are, what they're about. We're going to give away a $500 Bongkron voucher. Buy what you want. Do it. billabong.com.au/Swellians.
Well played.
Well played. But yeah, over and unders, Smithy.
Timmy Taplin, the toast of the South Coast, all 62 years of him getting thoroughly throated at the Great Guillotine. Just a mental positive pylon on the comment thread too, Vaughn. Just have a quick squeeze. Look at the names chipping in here. Shane Horan, nice spot. Dad still blazing a trail as he always has. Big Bad, Bobby Bain, the Gamote. This was such an epic moment. Huge respect always on your Taplins. Kelly Slater, legends. Marshy, Elliot Marshall, that was the sickest. Richie Vass is in there, that's all time.
Wow.
Noah Dean, that was epic. Jughead, so fucking good. Ollie Dossett, killing it. Matty Granger, epic. Matty Granger too, fuck. Just shout out to Matty. Hope your lemon spread's back on the mend. Headbutted the reef at Macca's after a 5-hour tube glutton fest.
What, since he coached Isabella Nichols to victory in Narrabeen?
Oh, this was just a few days ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Tried to backdoor a filthy nug after 5 hours of packing his pineal.
The great Werris, mate. The great werewolf.
Came undone.
Long
So,
race
mate,
finest
took it like a champ, though, smiling in the selfies as he pissed blood out of his
That's how he rolls,
brain.
mate. That's how he rolls.
Oh, he's a tough
He's a
mother.
fucking maniac, a werewolf.
But yeah, Timmy Taplin, mate. Is it Pete or Timmy? I get confused. Whoever the father
I think
is.
Timmy is the Grom.
Yeah, so
Timmy's
it's
like
the dad.
my age. It must be.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the dad. But mate, this guy. I mean, we talk about the longevity of Slater. I've been sitting there in my car on dusk after face planting and making a couple at the guillotine. I've looked across, and there he is, Pete, with his wife under his arm, looking out over a maxing, throbbing swell, sipping on a Cooper's Red, shit the bed. And I'm thinking, isn't that a nice sight? What a wholesome sight. Turn out to look at the waves. I look back, and there he is charging out on dark of his fucking 8.0 yellow rhino chaser, sitting deep in the pack, just rolled into this thing, fucking 8 foot at least, stood tall, directing traffic, one arm raised before the thing just shut down. The fucking most awful closeout you've ever seen. But
Far out.
how mad
How good
is
getting
that
props
man?
from that many goats, though? It's like a bleat fest on there, Smithy.
Full blown.
I feel like we should also be doffing to Russ Kirky Bjerke. Did you see a recent barrel from him out Gillows as well? It was fucking, pretty sure someone just posted it the other day. Another big old drainer, and everyone's just going, no, it's Kirky. And you can see the same deal, coloured board, just a big knifey rhino straight through the gizzards of this thing. Oh, I got to love it.
Amazing. Massive over.
Huge over.
Fawn, cough up or no surf for you.
What do you got?
Well, look, how do we feel about paying locals or rich white people, for that matter, for access to waves?
No, we don't feel good.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I read a story in the Surfers Journal. It was a big feature. It was talking to a bunch of locals in Mexico in that kind of Salina Cruz area. It was talking about the situation in Fiji with Tavarua, where it was privatised and now it's not. And also shout out to our man, Tommy D'Souza, whose epic YouTube series, I think it's Stories from the Scenic Route. The kind of motorcycle diaries in Indo. He did an amazing interview and kind of short doco on Sumba and featuring Claude Graves from the Niawatu, Occy's left wave there. One of the most famously kind of privatised waves in the world, alongside Tavarua. It's an interesting debate because it is complex. Personally, I fucking hate it. Like, in some of my early trips around the Pacific, I was getting kind of, stood over by fucking rich white cunts in the middle of nowhere when I'm on the smell of an oily rag. I'm at uni. I'm no hope of ever owning a home in my home country where, you know, it's $100,000 just to have a fucking housing deposit. And I got these cunts demanding I stay at their high-price resort to surf their wave. I was fucking laughing in their faces. I was with, four brutes from the eastern suburbs. We were more than happy to punch on. We'll punch on for fun in those days. So, told them to fucking beat it, and they did. They had to. But, yeah, at the same token, like, I can see why locals kind of want their feel, where using resources, often surf tourism kind of can chew up and spit out these local communities. It can overwhelm the basic infrastructure they've got. They don't have the tax set up to kind of redistribute that money into building sewage and waste disposal infrastructure. So there is a responsibility there with the surfing community to help build these communities up so they can accommodate all these surfers. But the idea that surfers have heaps of money to fucking spend propping up local communities is just not true in my experience. I mean, surfers, as far as I've known, have always been getting around the globe on the smell of an oily rag. And it's a weird one too when we go to these places that didn't even have a surfing culture. We find waves, we surf them, and suddenly people want money for us to surf them when they didn't know that surfing even existed. But that also kind of draws parallels with this kind of mining resource scenario where that's the argument that the mining companies make. They come to Australia, they rip out $111 billion worth of mining profits in a year. Don't give us a fucking cent. And they're like, well... And
sell it back to us for 5 times the price of the market.
Exactly. And they're like, well, yous weren't going to mine it. You didn't even know this shit existed till we got here with our seismic fucking shenanigans and started ripping it out. So are we just the unscrupulous mining corporations mining Vishnu and refusing to pay the tax that the locals deserve? Or are we a bunch of beans and brown rice, mushroom quaffing lords just paying reverence to Mother Nature, picking up after ourselves and doing the right thing, Vaughan? What's your take?
Oh, jeez, Smithy.
It's a real matzo ball.
Look, man, I went to an Indonesian island a couple of years ago, and it was well known for having a couple of spots that had been privatised, and a lot of fucking money to stay at them, and you could not surf the waves out the front. I went for a drive around the island with a local guy and some mates who were looking at some land to possibly start a surf camp, and they were like going off and going for a walk, and I was just chatting with the driver, and I was going, so what's the deal here? Like, are you guys frothing that? Because this island is largely unpopulated, really. Like 1 or 2 camps. And he was off it, dude. He was like just a local villager, and he's like, man, every bit of coastal real estate has almost been bought already. He goes like, there's a few places here with quality waves, but he goes like, none of the locals are fucking involved in any of this land sale stuff. Like, yeah, they go to sort of the local village, and there's like a power structure that like allow these transactions to happen. But in the end, it's a piss weak little amount that doesn't have any longevity to it. And all of a sudden they all get blocked off, and if they're not given jobs to just this handful of people who are involved in that sale, it's just the classic fucking stitch up, dude. Like
neo-colonialism writ large.
Yeah, you know what it's like.
Surfers as proxy capitalist swine. What a disgrace.
What it kind of like, and then that night I met a chief of one of the villages who was having huge issues with one of the privatised waves, and he surfed. So he was just going to surf it whenever the fuck he wanted, and he'd have the crew coming out. But the crew coming out were locals who'd been employed, and they see the chief, and they're like, fuck, sorry, man. And he's going, yeah, fuck off. And so wild fucking scenario. But the takeaway I got was that they're not going to put up with it. And I don't think that the people who own these resorts and are running them as these fucking elite businesses with just a meager number of people, locals, getting an opportunity out of it, I just don't think they can sustain that. Like, eventually it will get regulated down to a way more local friendly sort of environment that then opens those waves to other people, because everyone needs to be able to make their living off that if that's the road they're going to go down. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's kind of like I just feel like the more that surf culture sort of becomes a thing in these countries, the more the locals understand that how valuable the waves are. So any old deal will just get fucking chucked out the window. I mean, Indo is a classic example of places where that paperwork and that deal actually means fuck all. If the powers that be want to come in and renegotiate, well, they've got every right to do that.
Oh, yeah. I went in to sign a contract on one of those islands, east of Bali once, for a land deal. And I asked if I could use the toilet while we were going through the transaction. I walked in there. There was a fucking stack. I'm talking like a waist-high stack of contracts just being used as dunny roll. Yeah.
That's what it's worth, man.
Oh, yeah.
And we know people who have been stitched by that. But can you blame the Indonesians for like going, fuck yeah? No, we're changing the deal now because this is worth way more than what you paid for it and whatever. Like, that's just being educated and not being stitched up by some fucking cunt with money who knows the exact value of what's there.
Tavarua is an interesting one. Obviously, was privatised for many years. The head spins at the amount of cones that went wasted on tech billionaires and Russian oligarchs who were not even surfing the good days out at Cloudy and restaurants while it was privatised. But on the other hand, that deal reportedly, according to this Surfers Journal article, kicked over $13 million, as part of this Collie rights to the local tribes who'd inked the deal. But it doesn't seem right to me when super wealthy Western interests can lock down and privatise a wave, and their argument being, oh, yeah, but look at what we're doing for the community. We're such a positive influence for the community. It's like, is that really why you're doing this? Is that really what's happening here? Could we not come to a different policy framework where maybe we all have to, donate money, or like there's got to be some middle ground there where the wave's not privatised, where we still have to kick some money into the local community just through accommodation, boat operations, food, restaurant, maybe even a little tax. They got a men's tax now.
It's just a fucking
Mexico's an interesting one too. It's like you have
the Maldives, Mexico, anywhere there's like a industry that's sort of like on the come up. There's people taking advantage of it. There's people who are genuinely probably given back to the community as a major part of like their vision for what they want to make, because not everyone's out there just fucking trying to just shove as many dollars into their back pocket. Not everyone. Some people are having a fair crack at trying to be, sustainable, in sync with the local environments, in sync with the local cultures, to actually give back. I'm sure there's examples of it everywhere. But you are right. Like, the argument and how much are you actually contributing to these places. And it's always a worry if you're privatising a wave, man. To me, that sort of says a lot about what your motivation is, don't you?
Of course.
You're increasing your value just for your little slice of it. And it just wonder how much that filters down.
Yeah, and they're always like, oh, yeah, but somewhere's got to be sacred, somewhere's got to be uncrowded. I've seen what happened to these other places. They got overrun and destroyed. We're keeping this place pristine. And that was kind of Claude Graves' argument in Tommy D'Souza's documentary. But, you know, the flip side to that is, like, he had the best of it at Ulus. He was a part of the overrunning of a region, and now he has benefited from that period where, you know, Ulus, I imagine, was comparatively uncrowded when he was surfing it back in the 70s and 80s, and then he finds this other slice, and he's like, well, I don't want this becoming the next Bukit. So he stops that, and part of me also was very empathetic or sympathetic towards Claude because, mate, the guy did it tough. That's what is very little understood about his trajectory to getting to the point where he owned Niawatu and eventually sold it on. But, mate, the guy, like, camped in a tent on the wave for fucking years, built this bodgy little, you know, traditional bamboo fale. He fucking has had malaria 34 times.
Yeah, right.
Like, he did it tough, as core as you can get. And then at the end of it, builds this absolute romper of a resort and completely locks off the wave. He's paddling out there, you know, reportedly cutting leg ropes with a knife and sicken the local villagers under his employ onto travelling surfers,
wild, eh?
which is like exactly what happened to me in the Pacific. And it's a funny one too, because it's like, you know, fuck, mate, like a lot of people think that they have some right or entitlement to a wave, and I just see another white cunt, and I'm like, mate, let's fucking go. Like, you want to go? Like, so, like, villagers, local people, different matter.
Yeah.
But I've definitely had villagers crawling all over the rocks telling me to come in at waves and just like going, oh, I'm not coming in, mate. I'm going to keep surfing. What are you going to do? And just wait them out. It just happened to me in India, like this time last year. But real matzo ball, fucking complicated. What it makes me think of, Vaughn, is if waves are worth this much, let's fucking make some new ones. Give me the sticks of dynamite. Give me the underwater jackhammer.
Yep.
Let's just start making a few more slabs around Indo and pumping money into these local communities if they're that desperate for a quid.
Yep.
Fucking half setups all over the planet, dude. We can solve this problem. Just requires moving a bit of rock around and, fucking pissing off a few crustaceans and scaring a few fish off. But fuck, mate, that has never stopped us in the past.
It's never stopped us.
You build your average house and you're fucking displacing more nature.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really make sense to me why that is not looked as an option. Anyway. I'm going to have to give it an under to coughin' up or no surf for you.
Yeah.
Fuck the surf Nazis. I want me feel, Vaughn.
Me too, Smithy. I'm just want to fucking wave just like any other cunt, mate. Give us a go, man.
Mate, and like, do they realise how fucking expensive it is to live in the West? Do they realise we spend our whole lives in debt bondage under immense mortgage pressure, a part of this rigged financial system that sets us all up as, you know, like, there's this idea that Westerners are affluent. Like some. You heard of the fucking class system? It's been around since the 1100s. And we're all at the bottom end of it.
It's true.
Money doesn't just grow on trees.
It's an under. It's a huge under, Smithy.
I'm not just forking it out willy-nilly to every Tom, Dick, and Cadet with his hand out.
Well played.
Fair play to me. Fair play to Smithy and Vaughn.
Have a go. Give us a go. That's all we ask.
Give a go to get a go.
Under.
Does John Floz have Kelly slayed his foreskin in his knee? Does Gabby shave the bits of skin that none of us can see? If you drag your filthy cornhole down to the face of the old man pipe, will sparks fly from it like a comet across the lonely night? Are the wise judges crazy? Have they fucking lost the brief? Would chain her and take 50 grand over a lettuce leaf? words will oblige. So scarf your shoes and ask us a question. We will speak no lies. Ask us a question, we'll tell you no lies. Ask us a question, we'll tell you no lies.
Smithy, ask us a question, and the Swellians are out in force as always. Big shout out to everyone who throws out these questions whenever we put it out. Some are good, some are bad. Some we read, some we ignore. Some are just comments. Just kick things off.
But they're all contributions to the great tapestry of Swellian wisdom and knowledge, Vaughn.
It is. Now, this is an ongoing theme here at the Swellians at the moment. Negatron, don't surf. Is Liam O'Brien the most underrated surfer on tour? Couple of razor edge losses this year, which had they gone his way, he'd be in the top 5 convo. Will he hit a streak in 2025, pull up the big boy trousers for a little title campaign?
Yes.
P.S.
and yes.
I'm not an Aussie. Negatron is back in lobby. I would say he's my favourite surfer on tour this year, most improved as well.
Agreed. And you got to think about how locked in this guy is after breaking his leg and just qualifying straight through the Changers, just breezed it through to get back on tour.
Yeah.
Didn't cry over spilt milk.
Nah,
not his
fucking
rinse.
his go, mate.
But you got to imagine that breeds so much confidence. I mean, the Changers, we've seen the talent disappear down the chute there and never make it back onto the CT. He just did it in a cakewalk, straight back to the elite level. Jiao Chung is another one. And it just seems to steal their metal, their mental side, but also just their surfing becomes so heat savvy and so consistent. And, mate, he's the most satisfying surfer to watch because there's so much style and signature body lingo that's really just his own. And he really surprises you with the fucking savagery he seems to dish up in the mix with just fluent, down the line, quintessential, that point break honed, just mechanics, and fucking filthy in the orb too.
Oh, man, the reason why he's been so good this year is because he's fucking put some of the best performances on the board and hasn't got the rub. So, he's just turning up event after event where he probably has every right to have a little bit of head noise going on, going, fuck, what do I have to do to get through a heat? You know what I mean? I'm coming up against these big dogs. I'm absolutely centered, and I'm fucking putting that much cunt into me turns, and no one's fucking paying me. Well, imagine when he starts getting the rub, Smithy. And he's one of those guys, we call him the illegitimate son of MR for a reason. He's got that steeliness. He's got something about him that MR has. I like to call it cunt. I think he's going to do something special in 2025.
Plenty of cunt in him. Get up at lobby.
Go lobby. Beef O'Keefe wants to know, if Richie Lovett commentates the Olympics, will he be wearing his French beret? It's the Paris Olympics.
Oh. Well, has he got a bit of French in him, or is this part of the kind of cultural appropriation that's just expected of every Australian, a la Smithy in French Polynesia back in the day, getting around me French sailor
That's right.
suit.
I remember that. That was all time. No, look, I reckon Rich is just, as most bald men do, has a fair hat quiver. And, I think it's a doff of the cap, if I may, to represent the region that you're in by, donning something that is representative of that region.
Do you reckon he'll go for the step up, or he'll go for the shrunken beret out of the quiver?
Ooh, good question. See, Aussie Wrong's been getting around in a big beret. Kind of like the artiste beret. You know those ones, kind of off to one side.
Yeah, big saggy.
Cigarette.
Stash all your hash joints
talking,
in there.
Talking to everyone like they're a lesser version of humanity. That's the arrogant one. The small beret is a much more jovial beret, Smithy. Right. That's the guy who... thumbs in belt, tiptoes and heels dances down the street. So I'm expecting Richie Lovett to be the former. I don't know if he is commentating the Olympics. I hope he is. He's a very good commentator.
Come on, get Dick Lover.
Get Dick Lover up there on your peen Lovett.
Hey.
Shane Maxwell. Has anyone missed Felipe this year? Certainly didn't notice his absence at Pipe or Chopes. dog shot, but we'll cop it.
Is it, what, Philippe Pomar? Who's he talking about?
yeah, Philippe. Young, like little guy.
The coward. The puckerist.
2 or 3 world titles now.
I think he's got a couple, but better remembered. I mean, look, mired in asterisks, smelly.
Oh, of course, the puckered corn.
Puckerist. Yeah, I haven't missed him all too much, to be honest. The waves have been maxing, and he was probably not likely to figure.
No.
Pipeline or choke.
I miss him a little bit. I do.
Bit of rail savagery
Miss
and
him a little bit.
couple of fizzing rotations.
Like he's a fucking
Good size.
mean rail shaman. There's no doubt about it. But anyway,
well, yeah, he did have a section in a film called Zipper with Chipper Wilson. The
Chipper and Zipper.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The much feted appearance of these two seemingly incongruous surfers in a 3-foot beach break. Would you believe it, Fawn? True to form, Toledo blowing minds in these tiny little tubes.
Yeah. He's very good. Well, Shano just wants to finish off here by saying, how good is the Final Five looking without him? I have to say I'm more excited about Trestles without him there. Weird. Hey, like you'd think, oh, no, you want the best guy in those conditions to be there. But in light of the year we've had, I'm glad he's not there.
I cannot wait to see John compete in that format.
Same, man.
And in waves of consequence, look, that's where he's got his big results, and that's how he's earned it the right way.
And Shano has done a classic Aussie fucking get out of jail free card here. He's played it. Sorry, Felipe. We love you deep down. He's just chucked one of those on the end of the great all-time boot in the fucking neck. Well done, Shano. Well played, son.
He's loosened up the puckered corn and then just put a bit of paw ointment on it on the way out.
A little bit of a paw ointment after one of the great reamings.
Pretty piss weak if you ask me.
Oh, Australia. Poolman Scotty wants to know, what's your view of the guy in the channel with his arms up claiming some dude's hard-earned tube? Pure stoke or unnecessary stealing the spotlight from the rider? So I've been this guy many times. When
you've got to give props to the guy in the cones.
I love that. I reckon it makes your perso, your own shot of yourself, or say you're the surfer on the wave. If you've got someone sitting there doing the big high five in the foreground, that to me is the ultimate compliment.
Legendary. I always
Pure
do
stoke.
it when I see people in the pit. I always give them some kind of gesture because when you're in the pit, you always remember that. You always remember that fist raise. You can always see that guy out the end and you're like, fucking oath, I'm being celebrated. This is a moment.
Yeah.
It locks it in.
It's a doff. It's a huge doff from the channel. Doff. And also the Zave Huxtable 20-point heat, the perfect heat. Go back, we did an interview with him about it, but he says what made it even better after he got his second one was that every one of his competitors was doing that. They were all arms up and screaming their guts out, like in a heat, Smithy. That's, to me, that's a big doff to all the crew he was surfing against.
And if you don't acknowledge the bloke in the cone zone, I reckon you semi a dog, eh? Like, I reckon that's a kind of a shit move. Like, that means you're deliberately ignoring the best moment of someone's life. And I've seen it go down at the elite level. A couple of very famous world champs refusing to share the stoke for surfers in the cone zone. It's a little bit dismal.
I'm with you. I can't stand, like, don't get me wrong. When I was a grommet, I would always watch me mates' waves, and very seldom when they paddle back out, let them know that I'd seen it.
You have to.
But you have
to ignore it.
You got to be, when you're a grom.
When you're a grom, it must be.
You cannot give them props.
Not acknowledged.
No.
Dog. Oh,
but when you get older, you share the love.
Absolutely.
Good one here from Maxwell S. Smithy. If Double John rolls into Trestles with a 30,000-point lead on second place, which is so doable, man. He's won Brazil before. Cloudbreak just sits right in his little zone of like, I'm going to fucking root the shit out of this wave. Say he doesn't win the world title with a 30,000-point lead. Is that the end of the WSL finals format? Good question, Maxwell. Well played.
Well, I mean, we've already seen it happen a couple of times to Arnie Riss, and they've persisted with it. She's come in with unassailable leads, got done, an old-fashioned choke fest.
Yeah, and they didn't have much sympathy for her.
Didn't give
Let's just
two
check you later.
fucks. I don't know. It's interesting. I
He
mean,
didn't give two fucks at all, mate.
nah, couldn't have cared any
Mate,
less.
they couldn't get the cameras off her quick. Like, as soon as she started bawling her eyes out, they were like, all right, done with you. Back to Steph fucking crying her own tears and get showered in champagne.
That's right. And I mean, going to cloud break for the final next year. That's interesting. That far out. I cannot wait to see John and Jack Robbo at that wave. Big AI, down calves into filthy orbs. I mean, look, John sailed all the way from Hawaii to get there. So there's no one who's more locked into Pacific energy than that bloke. Maybe he'll sail all the way to get to the final five. Dock his catamaran. Off
Wouldn't
the
that
side
be
there.
in the background? Just with his Florence Marine flag flying off the top, do a bit of guerrilla marketing while he's on his way to the world title. Because you always see boats in the background there at Trestles.
Absolutely. Maybe even chip into one in his 80-foot catamaran and a
next
little
level.
layback off the side as he's holding onto the rudder. A little bit of vish.
Yeah.
That'd be good to see. And then, just fucking completely run over the rest of the field. Oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah.
The champ is here, motherfuckers.
Touching your mat.
Dempsey. Long
Demo.
time
Demo,
contributor.
man.
On your demo. How are you, brother?
Prezzo's finest.
And he wants to know, and this is a very good question again, any reports on Nate Floz's corn at the moment? That thing has been getting so rinsed that it must resemble a high-quality diamond of 105.6 carats. And
Seriously.
I think that his dot would be so hygienic you could wipe sleep out of a baby's eye with it, Smithy.
Oh, mate, you could eat your dinner off that thing.
You could literally go into open heart surgery and use his dot as one of the tools. It's that clean. It's that sterile.
If I get to Indo, look, it's more sterile than most of the plates you're eating off. I'll be dropping my serving of shepherd's pie straight onto Nate Floz's dot and
I think
scoffing the lot.
It's so clean and so fresh. You could get him to fart in your mouth as like a breath spray for sure.
After a bad hold down, instead of getting on the oxygen, just get on Nate Floz's dot.
That's it.
And start huffing. And you're right, Demo. Like the coiled up balloon knot. When it does go that sparkly clean, all the contours, it does resemble a diamond in the rough, so to speak. A diamond, just ground away over hundreds of years in this valley of charcoal and Vegemite, and there it comes, just glistening, but only emerges after getting 10-foot roll-ins at HTs and just getting fucking blown out.
Smithy, if we could get together with one of the great Australian jewellery companies, Harrods or, one of what's the other one there at Ballina just next door to Just Cuts? I can't remember. But
I know the one.
You know the one?
Yeah.
And maybe we could get a mould made of Nate Floz's Coight.
Yes.
Get Geordie Smith or one of our South African buddies to get some blood diamonds sent over, and we just make our own Swellian Nate Floz diamond dot.
Wow.
Bro.
Now you're talking.
Hey, merch fucking table would go off. Imagine dropping a knee to your wifey or your future wife.
Slipping that
producing-
coiled up diamond coit over her ring.
The diamond dot, Nate Floz special, one of a kind. And, mate, this is where we're going.
That's amazing. You can just imagine a shocker. You didn't, Smithy. Is that Nate Floz diamond coit on my finger? Nothing is too good for you, doll.
Oh, nothing is too good, no expense spared.
Pretty pissed weak if you ask me.
Whatever, Trevor. Which rock pool did these snoozers scoop Kaipo out of? There's entertaining larrikins spread all over the surf world, and they insist on this boiled egg. Send him down the beach, Crosby. Hey, I'm backing Kaipo. Sorry.
Unique
Sorry,
New York.
whatever.
Unique New York.
Yeah, I love Kipes. He's a fucking maniac. He's an absolute maniac. Like, around the comp, there's no one like him. He's a fucking lunatic.
Fuck, he flares it up for the merch and the advertisers. A shameless plugger.
Yeah. I mean, but you're a believer. I've seen you getting around in your Bonsoy kit and your fucking
Oh, yeah, head to toe.
AG1 and your... How many Bailey's ladders do you have at your place?
Mate, and my ice bath is just full of soybean milk curd. It's fucking amazing stuff. You just want to bathe in that shit 24/7. I'd never get out. And as for Kipes, look, mate, he's having a crack.
Mate, he rooted Madonna.
Not my pick.
Hey, he rooted Madonna, all right? He rooted Madonna.
Well, and
allegedly.
that's why he's got the job. Starkey
Exactly.
respects that. He
Who
really
doesn't,
does.
man?
I respect it. You got to respect
in her
it.
prime too.
Are you
Just
kidding
to
me?
be clear.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Fucking mate, who asked that question? If he doesn't know that, and if he knows that,
No,
and
it was
asks that
whatever
question-
Trebs. It was.
Mate, come on, you
the
got to
same.
respect that, Trev.
Yeah.
You got to respect.
Yeah. Just put Lucky Star on anytime he's calling a heat and have that playing in the background. You'll remember, mate. You'll remember. You'll
Lucky
start doffing
Star.
the cap.
Do you reckon he gave Madonna's Lucky Star a ticket? He's definitely seen it.
Oh God. It's my best. That's the best call. Call of the day.
Dog. Oh,
Hey, just a little shout out here, Smithy. Before we keep going with these questions, I'm just going to throw this in here at the end of the app, but I really do want to let people know that we have got fucking 10 Ain't That Swell jumpers left in our merch store. So the Aussie Right one with the Ain't That Swell logo across the front in different coloured writing, embroidered, not that one, but the it's a sick little sort of sweater. And we've got 2 medium, they're black, 2 in medium, 5 in large, 3 in XL. So go to ain'tthatswell.com if you want to get one of these sweaters, man, because there's fuck all left. There's 10. And winter is only just hitting. It's only just getting chilly now. So, yeah, you'll be looking the fucking goods in that gear, mate. I wouldn't be surprised if you actually cop at least a look or a sniff at Madonna's Lucky Star with one of those bad
I
boys on.
reckon. Fire out that Lucky Star will be stuck to you.
Madness. So, yeah, Ain't That Swell. Heaps of other merch on there too, but 10 jumpers left, Swellians. Get on it. Oh, gosh, we got so many questions here. I'm just going to come down to a couple of last ones here, Smithy. Matt Bemrose, is it true Deadly got a nose extension? Mate, it's always been this.
Yeah, it's incremental. I mean, that's just the nature of aging.
They
the
keep
nose
growing, right?
They do. The nose and
Nose
ears continue
is,
to grow.
Foreskins, I believe.
Yes, correct.
So, ever since Kelly's John's foreskin ended up in Kelly Slater's knee, apparently.
It was the other way around, wasn't it?
Does John Floz have Kelly Slater's foreskin in his knee? Because Kelly, So it's John's foreskin in Kelly Slater's knee.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I broke this story to the world after
That's right.
visiting the stem cell lab in Tijuana.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was
there was Petri dishes full of foreskin everywhere.
Well, that's right. And sadly, the prong, the actual meat, the rod, does not continue to grow. It's just the skinny, flappy tip to the point like you end up with just this strange bulbous. It almost looks like a Venus flytrap. In
No,
your
it
pants.
can.
Yeah, it's just like this, just mucusy, sticky
The good news is,
sack like a honey pot.
well, this is what tripped me out, is that you would have thought with all this Petri dish foreskin growth, stem cell growth that's going on everywhere all over the world, not just in these backwoods labs now, but, Johnson & Johnson have apparently got
I bet they do. They got
strand
their
of
finger in
John's
everything, don't
foreskin.
they?
But, yeah, the good news is, the shock was that John's foreskin is apparently just regenerating
No way.
on its own.
That's
On its
believable.
own, Smithy.
Believable.
This is why he's surfing so good. He's got coverage. He's got protection.
Yeah, well, Darren Hanley famously said that it was Pizel who'd been kissed on the dick by fairies, but maybe Pizel gave John a little end of his harem of fairies.
Yeah.
They've just been all pecking him on the forehead.
Last one, mate. This is from Brawny, big rye dog, Ryan Braun. How are you, mate? Now, this is a good question to end the show on, because hopefully we can inspire people to get on our Patreon. But he said, if I hand you guys my cold, hard cash through the Patreon that you're spruiking at the moment,
Oh, yeah.
and you guys become a massive hit. So if we take this Swellian support and we launch it into some sort of stratospheric chamber, how can I know that you won't stop swearing and go all PC? Basically become reptilian fucking bullshit artists.
Yeah.
How can you tell?
Mate, look, I think that ship
What
sailed...
promise can we give to Brawny?
Look, my digital footprint is so abundant and filled with expletives, it would take me several lifetimes to clean it up.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any hope of me ever being able to clean this image. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to employ fucking a a small army of Bangladeshi workers working round the clock on absolute peanuts to go through and wipe the amount of potty mouth I've saturated the airwaves, the digital publishing realm. I mean, look, at this point, I'm really just praying for a solar flare, and then maybe we can start from year zero.
Can I simplify and answer this question in the most succinct way possible? Won't happen, cunt.
Fucking no.
It just fucking won't happen, cunt.
Yeah, fucking pull up, cunt. Hey?
Let's see the dollars, and we'll stay the same. We'll go nowhere.
Yeah,
we've learnt nothing. We've grown in no way, shape, or form other than we care deeply. We care deeply about the health and the spiritual fucking synchronicity of civilians. That's probably been the biggest change. That's
100%. Look, if our Patreon account is in investment in anything, it's an investment in pure muck and filth and degeneracy. And you've got to know that by this point, 11 or 12 years into this experiment.
Yeah. Nah, good question, though. Where do you sign up to the Patreon?
Fucking good question, mate. I don't know. Just I'll put a link in our bio or some shit.
All right, perfect.
And Google fucking Ain't That Swell Patreon. It'll take you there.
Smithy.
Figure it out.
Us. Have a good week, brother.
You too, brother.
Soon.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you kidding?